Such an honor and a pleasure to be sitting in for Dennis Prager once again. I want to thank everybody. Well, first off, I want to thank the Pragers, Dennis, and obviously his wife, Sue. I also want to thank Sean McConnell, who's in my ear, Alan Estrin, the producer. Thank you so much, Alan, for having me back on. Gabe Cassiano has got my back right here at AM 950, The Answer, in Orlando, theanswerorlando.com. I got some serious things that I want to talk about, and of course, I'll bring whatever breaking news we might have to you. I do want to offer this right off the bat. There was some breaking news right before I came on that Sam Brinton, you know, the guy that worked for the Biden administration that was stealing women's clothing, apparently he's a fugitive at this point. He's a fugitive from justice. So there's a warrant out for his arrest, so that just broke. I'll follow up with more details as more details become available. And I want to offer this to you because I've been thinking big time, obviously, about 2024 and elections that have already transpired here in 2023. And I understand that a lot of people are anxious about where this country is headed and honestly where we're at. We've turned into we have an authoritarian dictatorship, in my opinion, in the White House with the Biden administration, and I'll get into that. So there's some specific issues I want to address, but I want to get deep with you today. I know there's a lot of news, there's a lot of distractions out there, there's a lot of great headlines. Obviously, the debt ceiling issue. We'll spend a little time on that. I'll talk about that a little bit. I know the Democrats don't. They like the idea of raising the debt ceiling $1.5 trillion. They're okay with that, working with Kevin McCarthy on that, but they don't want any other cuts. So we'll talk about that because there's some moral implications when it comes to money that I think we need to talk about. Guys, we have the moral authority on the right, and we need to understand that, and we need to embrace that. I'm going to be talking about Daniel Penny. I want to talk about the criminalization of self-defense. I want to give you some takeaways on that, things that you should be concerned about, things that we should be looking out for. I want to talk about illegal immigration, and I have the opinion that we need to end birthright citizenship as of yesterday. I'll get into that, and I know a lot of people might be out there and you think that Jesus was a refugee. I'll end that nonsense. That's a complete and utter lie. It is not biblical, and sadly, a lot of Christians buy into this, and I think it's in part, I'm sorry to say it, I think it's due to cowardice. I don't think it's due to intellect. I don't think it's due to research. I think it's just the easy route. It's succumbing to your feelings, and we are not to do that as Christians. We are to succumb to biblical truth, objective truth, and that's how we win the day. So I got to tell you, I am actually a little more encouraged than I expected to be. And I think perhaps you'll see why, because I'm excited about the fights that are in front of us. I know a lot of people are. Listen, Ron DeSantis announced that it appears as though Ron DeSantis is going to be jumping into the presidential race in about a week. Trump is, just running away in the national polls. It's going to be hard for anybody to take out Trump. I'm just being frank with you. The guy he has a 30-point head start, but I'm of this opinion because I'm not going to go too deeply into that today. I think the nastier the fight gets between Trump and DeSantis, the weird thing is I think the more likelier they are to be teams in the end. And perhaps if we have time, I'll explain that. But I actually think, at least for today, there's more pressing issues that I would like to talk about. By the way, the number to call into the program, 1-8-PRAGER-776. That is 1-877-243-7776. Guys, don't forget to go to DennisPrager.com. You can check out all of Dennis's articles there. He prints them every Tuesday. Do not forget about his podcast with Julie Hartman. She was on yesterday. I got to hear some of that. She did a fantastic job, as always. So Dennis and Julie podcast. Don't forget PragerTopia.com. Someone reached out to me earlier and said, Carl, I want to hear you on Dennis Prager, but I'm a working man and so on, etc. Listen, PragerTopia.com. That'll be up. I'm sure you'll be able to hear this show today. PragerU.com. 5-minute videos that are literally changing the world. I have been really focused on a lot of the videos when it comes to climate change and energy with PragerU. I do believe that is one of the tools that the left will use to fundamentally transform America. I think that is a fight that we must get in. I think that's a fight that we need to start speaking out about loudly and demanding that our legislators do something about it. Go to PragerU.com, check out all of those videos. And I would say if you have any college-age young kids, especially if you're paying for their college, I would demand that the only way I continue paying for their college, and I'm being dead serious with you, is if they watch PragerU, because you're going to have to clean up all that brainwashing that's happening on college campuses. So, you don't, or maybe you send them a video and just say, hey, just tell me what you think about this, but get your young men and women watching PragerU. I think that is very, very important. They have a fantastic ministry here on the Prager Show, but also at PragerU. I do consider it a ministry, and I don't. I'm using that word on purpose. I'm using that word on purpose. So let me say this. I have to apologize to you. I thought about this through the night. Sometimes when I'm preparing for a show, I just love to sit and think, and then I'm hurried because I have some columns that I want to read through and this and that. But sometimes I just need time to sit and think, and it hit me that whenever I fill in, whether it's for Prager, Officer Tatum, Mike Gallagher, one of the national hosts, there's this sense of urgency that I always try to convey about election integrity. And I do think that it is something that needs to be conveyed. And I do believe that it is something that Republicans should be fighting for wherever we are, whatever states that we control. We should make sure that elections are both fair and free. And states that we do not control, I do believe that we need to ballot harvest where legal. But I got to apologize to you because I think at times what I've done is overemphasize the importance of election integrity. But what I have not done was overemphasize the importance of people of integrity showing up for elections. I want to make sure you catch that. At times, I have overemphasized election integrity. And I even want to be kind of cautious in how I say that because it's a very important issue and it matters. But also, I didn't balance that out. And the truth of the matter is, guys, we can still save this country. We can still roll stuff back. But what it's going to require is that people of integrity show up at elections. They did overwhelmingly for Trump in 2020. However, in subsequent elections, you'd be hard-pressed to find conservatives showing up at the ballot box like we need to. And I sat there and I thought about this, and I was like, what's going on? Are people just discouraged? What is it? You feel powerless. You feel helpless. I got to admit to you, at times, so do I, but I really feel like I'm a Christian, and I'm not ashamed of it. I felt like the Spirit of God literally was just like, Carl, victory is still at hand. Don't be discouraged. And I'm going to talk about some very important issues, but I want you to understand, you don't have to be discouraged. People of integrity, listen to me. Let's show up. Let's show up at these elections. As long as the people of integrity show up at the ballot box, as long as the people of integrity get involved in the voting system, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. We'll turn this country around. But I want to bring some things to your attention because I like to focus on macro issues. And I will, again, mix in the news. There's several headlines. I don't want to be, I want to make sure that you walk away informed. As I always attempt to do and try to do when I'm on. But I want to talk about this exculpatory witness that emerged in Daniel Penny's case. There's a Gibson Go fund out there for Daniel Penny. Daniel Penny is the Marine subway hero that restrained a mentally ill, sorry to say it, criminal. It was tragic, in Jordan Neely. And the left is trying to use this to make this guy out to be the next George Floyd or the next Trayvon Martin. But also there's something that they're doing that's really important. They are criminalizing self-defense. And I'm gonna offer a caution. This is gonna sound racist, but it's so true. I'm gonna offer a caution to white people when we get back. Carl Jackson in for Dennis Prager. We'll be right back.